Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, Fabulites. I have questions for you, and Bella has a bag that had, I think, donuts in it, and she's over here crunching and carrying on. But I have a small window, so I have to stay focused. But I got questions for you. What opens with Miss Issa trying to do the do? And what closes with Miss Issa having done the do? If you guess Insecure Season 2, Episode 3, Hella Open, you're correct. And if you want to stick around with me to see how we get from opening to closing, please do. You're welcome. Welcome back. All of that other stuff. I'm Angela, and the channel is Be Fabulous You. Let's go. Let us go. Let us embark on this journey. So we see Issa on a date. She's at the dude's house, and they trying to get busy. And she can't stop giggling. She's just, very uncomfortable. She laugh at this and laugh at that. Then his hands look funny. Then she just can't stop giggling. It's hard to get in the mood when somebody is laughing. So she's like, it's weird. It's weird. I tried to use the writing to capture how she said it, but she's y'all know she's funny. I'm not that funny. Can we do this another time? She asked him. And he's like, I don't know, because I thought this was a sure thing. And he says like, me too. Bye. And then she heads into the bedroom, and she's like, bye. And then she head into the kitchen. Then she like, okay, bye. And she heading hopefully out the front door. Okay. So then we see Issa on her way to work. She's running into one of her neighbors, who was at her wine down party, W-I-N-E party, when she was trying to stage this event to show Lawrence how she was just living the life and having so much fun. And he was like, they done got cited by their landlord for creating too much noise. So a couple of them, probably 5 or 10 of them, have notices on their door for being nuisances. She like, fuck that landlord. And he like, yeah, fuck them. They ain't shit or whatever. I don't know what profanity they use. And then he's like, your party was on though. Okay, so that's the party on though guy. Party on, party on. Then we see Molly at work. She's on a video conference with Chicago. There's a black man and a white woman. So she's moving forward with her plan. We see Miss Issa and Frida, and they are at a booming and black We Got Y'all after school session, and it's just blowing up black. And Issa is all excited. Can you see this? And her friend is like, I know. Frida, her colleague, was like, I know. I was going to ask you if you could see it too. Issa's all excited by the numbers, but her friend is like, did you notice the fact that I'm excited noticing that all of the children who are coming in are black? And the school is 86% Latino. There ain't no Latino children in the room. No Chicanos in the room. We don't know. There might be some black Latins or some black Chicanos. But for all appearances, it's just the African-American children. So Frida is like, we got to figure out how to balance the demographics. And Issa is like, girl, we're winning. Just take the win, Frida. Take the win. Okay, so then we see Lawrence at work, and his colleagues are inviting him to start up the Startup Saturday mixer. And they say it's just, people get drunk, and he would clean up there. Not literally. They don't want him to come to clean up literally, but they mean he would clean up sexually. You would clean up there because he's tall and attractive, and, they say there are no good guys there hardly. And, he says, well, I can't go on Saturday because I have to pick up chairs, but maybe the next time. And his colleagues are basically like, lame. Okay, so then we see Molly, and she's on the phone with her mom, and her parents are renewing their vows. Oh, okay. And then Molly she's hanging up the phone with her mom. She's picking up a bookcase that got shipped to her. It's not assembled. It's in this box. And the guy who is handing her the bookcase is like, the guy who's handing her the bookcase is like, you know, you want me to give it to him? And Molly look around, it's a black guy standing there, and Molly's like, we are not together. And then she's like, I got it. And she struggles to load her big old heavy box into her car alone, in her business suit and everything. And then we see in the background, meanwhile, that the black guy is with a white woman, and he effortlessly gets their package loaded. Okay, so then we see Molly and Issa at Molly's, and they trying to put a bookcase together for a minute. It don't last for long, at least for Issa. And Molly is like, you know, I'm putting therapy on hold till I find another therapist. My therapist think just we got the same issues just because we both got brown titties. And then Issa is like, well, there are plenty of brown titties in the sea, Molly. Go on and find you another therapist now. And then Molly is like, well, hold on a second. Now, there are plenty of brown dicks in the sea, but you ain't got one of them. And then Issa is like, shoot, trying to, you know, F is hard. You know, I'm stuck in my head. And Molly is like, well, shoot, therapy is hard. I'm stuck in my head, too. And then Issa's like, let's go out. Teach me to hoe. Oh, and I got a rap for you in honor of Issa Rae. I'm hit. That's a hoe in training. My girl Molly is with me explaining how to hoe, 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 hoe. Merry Christmas, biatch. I'ma do Santa and his hells. Ho, 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 ho. It was much better when I practiced it, not in front of the camera. So we're at the bar, and Issa is striking out. She's trying too hard to show that she's sexually available, and she's offending the people. Even the men are, you know, it's too much. It's like, back up, girl. Issa got her sexy walk going. Did y'all take notes on that? And then Molly ends up meeting somebody, though, while they're out trying to hook Issa up. And it's the Sterling guy from This Is Us. Oh, when is This Is Us coming back? Okay, so then we see Lawrence and Tasha in bed. And she's telling him stories and wanting to watch TV. And, you know, she's trying to move the relationship beyond just sex. She's trying to connect, not just on the physical, but on an emotional friendship level, intellectual level, you know, whatever. Lawrence is rubbing her thigh. He's basically trying to stay in the sex lane and trying to stay at level sex. Level sex. That's, you want to dial it to right there. And he good with where things are. So we see a scene where Issa is trying to masturbate, and, you know, she done had such a hard time, you know, trying to figure out how to get with the guy, and then her battery on her vibrator dies. So it's kind of like, not only can she not hardly get with a guy, she can't even get with her vibrator, and she going around the house trying to find a replacement. She mid-job, or at some point in the job, but she ain't finished with this vibrator, but the vibrator is finished with her. Then we see Molly at work, and her higher paid colleague, I think that's the guy who she accidentally got his check. He's like, oh, I wish I could sneak in vacations in Chicago. And Molly is like, you already vacation here at work, so what's the difference? And he's like, ooh, touche, and she apologizes. Okay, so we are We Got Y'all, and Issa and Frida are in the boss's office, and the boss is like, yay, you know, we got a good report from Vice Principal Gaines. Attendance is double. Good job, Issa, for hanging in there when we wanted to leave. And Issa's like, oh, well, it's a team effort. And Frida is like, Okay, so then we see Molly and This Is Us Sterling on a date, and they seem to have a lot in common. And he says, I have a really good vibe with you. Do you ever wish you could just skip to the part where you were married and settled and life is all figured out? And Molly is like, yeah. But you can tell she feeling a little somehow. Then we see Lawrence at Tasha's family barbecue, and he's meeting play uncles and folks and helping. And, you know, there's a guy who's like, you know, let's set up these speakers. And Lawrence is like, oh, they allow music in the park? And the guy is like, oh, you one of them rule followers? Hand me that plug, Negro. Anyway, I thought that whole thing was funny. Then he's getting Miss Mimi out the car, and, you know, he's part of the family, but he decides he has to go. He want to go. Was it the flute playing twerker? Or was it just he don't want to be in that type of relationship with this child? You tell me what you think. He says, I gotta go do this work thing, but I'll be right back. Then we see Molly. She runs into a married couple friend. A married couple, like some friends at this cupcake shop. And, you know, then we see Issa. She's painting over the scorched earth wallpaper in her apartment. We had seen her looking at it earlier. And through her window, she notices the neighbor that she saw when they were talking about the noise complaint in the neighbor. The lit party. Your party was lit, though. What did I call? I came up with a name for him. I done forgot it in 10 minutes. But she notices her neighbor who complimented her party. He's by the pool, and she's like, okay, I see you. And then Molly calls while she's painting, and she says, I'm not into Sterling, even though he is P.O.P. Perfect on paper. Pop! And she said she ran into Dro and Candace, and when Candace met Dro, he was a mess, but they just went with the flow. And she's like, my date, it was like he was just checking off boxes. And Issa like, he sounds just like you. And Molly is like, what? Was I out here like that? Then we see Lawrence at his startup Saturday with his colleagues. And then we see Issa going to her neighbor's place, and she pretending to think that, oh, at the party, I think you might have left this charger at my place. And he's like, oh, yeah, and she come, oh, what you listening to the so-and-so? And they come in and they watching, I don't know what TV show they watching, but he like, you know, this actress is so-and-so. And she's like, which one is she? The white one? Oh, they're all white. It's a lot of white people. But anyway, it's very awkward. But anyway, she gets over the humping hump, because, you know, she hadn't quite made it over the humping hump to get to some humping. But she gets over the humping hump after some self-talk in the mirror in her head, bathroom rapping. So y'all got my sorry version, but, you know, she had her version. And she has some other issues, like her having to respectfully decline his request for booby effing. And her neighbor is like, you know, so after they do the do, she's leaving, and her neighbor is like, you can stay. And Issa's like, I'm good. And her neighbor is like, see you around. And Issa's like, sure. And then she takes her charger back when she sees his charger. You know, she's kind of getting to the point in her hoation where she's like, she don't have to come with no fake excuse to get some sex. She could just come get some sex. So she's starting to realize that. Then we see Molly blowing off Lionel. He texting her, that's Sterling from This Is Us, repeatedly. He inviting her to a SZA concert. He inviting her to dinner. You know, she's like, you know, first she stopped even responding to him while she's drinking wine, and the hired help is assembling her bookcase. So she done hired some people. She don't need a man. She cool. Then we see Lawrence partying with his colleagues, and Tasha called, and Tasha like, what happened? You should have told me that you didn't want to come. You ghosted, and my whole family was here. You don't give a care about me. You a freak Negro. You worse than a freak Negro, because you a freak Negro who thinks that he is a good dude. But I see you. And that's the end of the episode. Lawrence is like, but it's not really she already knew he was a fuck nigga, right? Excuse my language. She already knew he was a freak Negro, right? I mean, because that's what they've been doing. So anyway, I guess now she has clarity. If she didn't have clarity, we all have clarity. He might not be a freak Negro, but he's playing one on TV at the moment. This is where he is in his life. That's what he's doing. So, you know, while he was trying to, he hadn't had any trouble getting over the hump, but he's having trouble, you know, it's probably a little, I don't know. But anyway, so that's that. You know, Issa and Lawrence are kind of dealing with some of the same types of issues in terms of, you know, dealing with, you know, their sexuality and relating to people and not being in serious relationships with people, but wanting to, you know, be in sexual relationships with people. And Issa wants to just be straight up about what's going on. She don't want to pretend to be in a relationship. And Lawrence, he want to be a good guy. She not trying to be a good girl. She trying to be a hoe. She out here hoeing. But that's what I got. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, subscribing. Thumbs up. Comment down below. Share. Share the love. And in the meantime, fabulous ones, be you. Oh, also, we're working on 150 subscribers. Yay! For everybody who is a subscriber or everyone who just clicked the subscriber button. Welcome and welcome back and all of that other good stuff. I love you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you.